guys, we are 3 days into January, which means it's time to sit down and go over all of the books we want to read this month. And it is the first TBR video of 2024. We hope everyone had an amazing new year. We're excited to get started on this year's reading. We set our new Goodreads goals.
I set mine to 100 because I did make it to 96 last year. So I think I can do the full 100 this year.
I ended up doing the one book as my goal. It's pretty much just like a minimum, and then I'm going to use the rest of the year to track and see how many I can read. And hopefully without the pressure of a goal, I read more than I read last year. We'll see.
I think all of my books for January are kind of just in the middle of series for me. And then I also did include some little small ones just in case I feel a little bit overwhelmed at any point of the month. I'm currently in the middle of Bad Blood by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It is the last book in the Natural series and it's going so well. I think because it is the last book, everything's coming to light and everything is trying to get wrapped up. I just hope it ends well.
My January stack consists of a lot of literary fiction and then a lot of memoirs that I have. I don't know why, but I've been waiting to read these for this month. It feels like a good way to start off the year. The first one I have is a memoir, and it is Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. I cannot believe I haven't read this one yet. I know I have to read it ASAP because everyone has loved it. It just says, from the indie rock musician known as Japanese Breakfast, an unflinching, powerful story of family, food, grief, and love. Vivacious and plain-spoken, lyrical, and honest, Zauner's voice is radiantly alive on the page as it is on stage. Crying in H Mart is an exquisite debut, a book to cherish, share, and reread. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to read more Asian authors. I keep saying that and then I never do it. So this is going to be one of the first books I read this year. All of the memoirs I read last year I really enjoyed, so I know this one will be no different.
I, of course, want to read Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I feel like I'm falling behind, you know? I feel like this was so last year and I need to get going. I just watched a YouTube video that was kind of like going back over everything that happened in the first book so I don't forget anything. But now I'm ready. Now I feel like refreshed and know exactly what's going on. You enjoyed this one a lot more than Fourth Wing, and then I know some people who really enjoyed Fourth Wing didn't like this one. So I'm curious to see how I feel because I gave Fourth Wing 5 stars and it would just suck if it like just slowly went downhill after that for me.
No, you'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna see.
Okay. Up next, I have Notes on an Execution. I know that this one is about a man who is on death row, and we get to know more about him through the perspective of 3 different women in his life. I've heard it's excellent. And the back says, blending breathtaking suspense with astonishing empathy, Notes on an Execution presents a chilling portrait of womanhood as it simultaneously unravels the familiar narrative of the American serial killer, asking readers to consider the false promise of looking for meaning in the psyches of violent men. Like, this sounds like that book, and I'm ready to learn this man's story. I'm ready to see what this writing's all about, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a book that I really enjoy.
So I have 2 mystery thrillers here about the same author. We have What Lies in the Wood by Kate Alice Marshall and No One Can Know. Just from the top, it says they were 11 when they sent a killer to prison. They were heroes, but they were liars. That sounds amazing. And then this one, 3 sisters, 2 murders, and too many secrets to count. They're both just giving like mystery thriller, but also family drama, which is like one of my favorite tropes ever. So I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. Which one should I read this month?
Another memoir I have for this month is Tom Felton's Beyond the Wand. You guys know how obsessed I am with Harry Potter, so I can't believe that he put out a memoir, and it's pretty much all about his time while filming. It says Tom Felton's Beyond the Wand is an entertaining, funny, and poignant must-read for any Harry Potter fan prepared to meet a real-life wizard. This man is so fun. I still follow him on TikTok, and I love how much he appreciates his time on set, because you know how sometimes actors, whatever they worked on and whatever made them big, they kind of are embarrassed by. He just loves Harry Potter as much as we all do, so I can't wait to read. I've heard this one's a really good one.
I'm gonna do it this month. I don't know why I've waited so long. I do know why I've waited so long. It's because it's super thick and it intimidates me. But it's time. I have to read The Toll by Neil Shusterman. I'm just scared. That's what I need to work on this year. I need to stop being so scared by big books.
Yeah, just read them.
I know. It's like I'm gonna love it either way. I get in my head about the numbers, you know? I'm like, if I read this thick book, then I'm not gonna get to any of my smaller books. We're done. I'm reading this month. The last one ended on such a cliffhanger. I gotta see what happened to my people.
I want to read another Tessa Moshfegh book, so I picked up Homesick for Another World. This has one of my favorite covers ever. I can't explain it. Something about it just seems really intriguing. I know this is her debut novel and it's a collection of short stories, so I cannot wait to see what these are going to entail. Her writing is so unique and so interesting. I'm not a huge short story person, but I want to be, and I think if there's one author that would get me into short stories, it would be Ottessa Moshfegh. So I'm excited to get into this one, as I am with all the others. I've liked both books that I've read by her already, so I have high hopes for this one.
Another one I've said so many times I'm gonna read and still haven't read is Caught Up by Liz Tomforty, one of my most anticipated books. Y'all know I'm obsessed with the Windy City series. I've loved every single book, and it's like every single book keeps getting better and better, so I think this one just might be a 5-star read for me. It's surrounding professional baseball, which I absolutely love. I know in the second book they kept comparing our main character to Clark Kent because he's like hot and he has his little glasses on and he needs someone to nanny his kid. And his coach is going to have his daughter nanny his kid, and they're going to fall madly in love, and I just can't wait to feel all the giddy feelings. I'm going to have my pen and my annotation stuff ready to go. That's just how her writing is, and I'm ready.
I have another memoir. I hope I get to... No, I will get to all of these. But the one I have here is Lauren Graham's Talking as Fast as I Can. We love Gilmore Girls. I love Lauren Graham. I think she's so funny. So the fact that she has a memoir specifically talking about Gilmore Girls... it's gotta be read.
This title is everything, too.
I know. It says, this book is like a cozy night in, catching up with your best friend, laughing and swapping stories, and of course, talking as fast as you can. Is that not the cutest thing ever? She's got some pictures on the back. This is probably gonna make me want to rewatch the show, and I'm okay with that. But I'm ready to read it.
I'm also gonna continue on with the Selection series by Kiera Cass. I'm currently on the 1. I think for me, the first book was just so good, and then the second book, I was kind of like, I'm a little tired of our main character, because I need her to realize that this isn't a love triangle anymore. There is one man. It's like Belly. Like, get it together, lady.
Yeah.
The concept is really cool, though. There's 35 girls competing for the prince, so it's kind of like The Bachelor, but then it's also very political, too. It kind of has, like, some aspects of Hunger Games as well, just because everyone's kind of divided into a division, and they all have different classes. But I'm ready to make my way through this series this year.
Up next, I have Mona Awad's All Well. Mona Awad is the author of Bunny, which is an absolutely, like, obscure, really unique, bizarre book. So I have no idea what to expect going into this one. I read Bunny pretty early on in my reading journey, and I don't think I appreciated it enough. So now that I have a lot of books under my belt, I want to see how I feel about her writing. It says, this is a woman at her breaking point and formidable, piercingly funny indictment of our collective refusal to witness and believe female pain. Girl, what? You see what I mean with this literary fiction? Things are just brought to a new level. This isn't like my funny little dark romances. This is some real stuff. But to be honest, I have wanted to get more into this genre, so I'm really looking forward to all of these.
I do want to start this series, which is so silly of me, but it makes sense. It's Set on You by Amy Lee. X's and O's, I have to read next month. It's like the perfect February book, so I have to read the first one first. This one says, a gym nemesis pushes a fitness influencer to the max in Amy Lee's steamy debut romantic comedy. Curvy fitness influencer Crystal Chen built her career by shattering gym stereotypes and mostly ignoring the trolls. After her recent breakup, she has little stamina left for men, instead finding solace in the gym. Enter firefighter Scott Ritchie. I don't think I've read a man being a firefighter. That's kind of hot. The smug new gym patron who routinely steals her favorite squat rack. How dare he?
That's my squat rack.
Sparks fly as these ultra-competitive foes battle for gym domination. But after a series of escalating jobs, the last thing they expect is to run into each other at their grandparents' engagement party.
Oh, that's cute!
Wait, this is kind of fun. I think this one will be really good. It sounds silly, but it sounds like the perfect read.
So the next book I have is Severance by Ling Ma, and I know this is a pandemic book, and this happened before our pandemic, so I'm very interested to see what it's going to entail. Basically, the author writes about how she thinks our world would react to a pandemic. I've just heard really great things about this author, this writing, this book in particular. The back says, is it the end of the world or just another day at the office? So I'm very interested. Now that we have lived through it, I want to see if there's any parallels.
I also do want to start Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. This is the first book in the Lakefront Billionaire series. If I do not like this, I'm going to be so upset just because I have such high hopes. I think I will though, because I really did like the fine print. The only reason I didn't continue on with the series is because I felt like it was so old. Like by the time that I was ready to continue on with the series. That's just a personal problem though. Like you could read any book whenever. For me, I was behind already. I'm not with the trends anymore,
Right.
and I like being with the trends. I like us all talking about the same same books that just came out. So I had already moved on, but I'm ready for this one. I know Julian is like everybody's favorite book boyfriend ever. So I hope I start the year off strong with also already having a favorite book boyfriend of the year.
Almond by Won Pyong-sun is my next one, and I have heard fantastic things about this one as well. See, I'm excited for all of these just because they're so hyped. So it says our main character was born with a brain condition that makes it hard for him to feel emotions like fear or anger, so he doesn't have any friends. It says his devoted mother and grandmother have provided him with a safe, content life, but everything changes when a shocking act of random violence shatters his world, leaving him alone. Struggling to cope with his loss, he retreats into a silent isolation until a troubled teenager, Gon, arrives at his school. The two form a surprising bond, and when Gon suddenly finds his life at risk, he'll have to step outside of every comfort zone he has ever created, perhaps to become the hero of his own story. Like, what? I did not know it was gonna be this sad. I hate sad books just because I can't deal with them. But I think I am gonna try just because it is short and I've heard good things about it. I know it'll be like really emotional and impactful. I just don't know if I could do it. We'll see. I'm gonna try. It sounds good.
The last one I have is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I've heard so many people love this, and it's such a small book. I think it's perfect for me to read this month. Bradley is pretty much perfect. He's a star football player and manages his OCD well enough, and comes out on top in all his classes except the one he shares with Celine. They used to be best friends until Brad decided he was too cool for conspiracy theory obsessed Celine.
I forgot about this one.
And literally abandoned her for the popular kids table. You know what?
He's not even worth it.
Girl,
He's not worth your time.
At least that's how Celine sees
Okay, alright, I see.
Gosh darn. Celine. These days, Brad hates her guts and the feeling is mutual. So when Celine signs up for a 2-part survival course in the woods, she definitely doesn't expect to find Brad right beside her.
That's cute.
That is cute. I think it'll be really fun. It's a short read. I know it's a lot of people's favorite YA romance too, so.
The last one I have is Pew by Catherine Lacey. This one's a unique one. I don't know if you guys remember, I went over it when I got it. It says in a small unnamed town, a church congregation arrives for a service and finds a figure asleep on the pew. This person is genderless and racially ambiguous and refuses to speak. One family takes in the strange visitor and nicknames them Pew, yet by the time Pew's story reaches a shattering and unsettling climax, the secret of who they really are, a devil or an angel or something else entirely, is dwarfed by even larger truths. Like, I know this is gonna have layered writing. I know it's gonna have all kinds of messages and hidden meanings, and I'm ready to get into it. I read some good little short literary fictions at the end of last year, and I loved those. I think this will be a really good one. That is all of our January books.
Hopefully we can get to all of these books plus more. We also have our Literal Besties book club book. You guys chose Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This one will be really fun to read with everyone because we did read Divine Rivals with everyone in the book club. It was one of our first book club books. The Divine Rivals chats from the book club are still up there, so if you still want to read that and read Ruthless Vows with us, you could definitely do that.
The link to join will be in the description as always. Also make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. We know we will have one more book in this stack once we make our blind TBR cart again. So that video will come out on Saturday and that will include what our final book will be for our January TBR. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys next time. He's the opposite of that. He very much lives, breathes, eats. What's the saying?
Farts. I know they say our main character is kind of like, what's Batman's name? Clark Kent?
Batman's real name?
Yeah.
Bruce.
Who's Clark Kent?
Superman.
And it's crazy because I keep seeing like split things about this. Like, you loved this one.
Well, I mean, I liked it a lot more than Fourth Wing.
I'll say that. You guys chose Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross.
Just start over with it.